The Haunted Doll. Sarah and John had just moved into Sarah's childhood home after her mother passed away. Amidst boxes of memories and old furniture, they discovered a dusty attic that hadn't been touched in years. Among the cobwebs and forgotten belongings, they found an antique doll with porcelain skin and piercing blue eyes. Sarah vaguely remembered the doll from her childhood, but its presence sent a shiver down her spine. As they settled into their new home, strange occurrences began. Sarah would wake in the night to find the doll moved from its place in the attic to different rooms of the house. At first, she brushed it off as John playing a prank, but he swore he hadn't touched it. One stormy night, Sarah woke to the sound of soft footsteps echoing through the hallway. Heart pounding, she followed the sound to the attic door, which creaked open on its own. The doll sat at the top of the stairs, its blue eyes gleaming in the darkness. She reached out to grab it, but a cold breeze swept through the attic, slamming the door shut in front of her. Terrified, Sarah called a paranormal investigator recommended by a neighbor. The investigator, Dr. Miller, arrived the next day with equipment and a somber demeanor. He explained that the doll might be a vessel for a restless spirit, possibly Sarah's deceased grandmother, who had always been protective, but had also suffered a tragic end. As Dr. Miller conducted his investigation, strange EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, echoed through the house, whispering Sarah's name and pleading for help. The investigator concluded that the spirit was trapped and seeking closure. With Dr. Miller's guidance, Sarah and John performed a cleansing ritual in the attic, burning sage and reciting prayers. As they did, the air grew heavy and the doll's eyes seemed to dim. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the attic, scattering dust and leaving an eerie silence in its wake. Since that night, the doll remained in the attic, undisturbed and seemingly powerless. Sarah and John never heard footsteps again, and the house felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. They never truly understood what had happened, but they were grateful to have found peace. The Whistling Man. Every night at 3 a.m., a faint whistling drifted through the small town of Willowbrook. It started as a rumor whispered among neighbors, dismissed as a figment of tired minds until people began to vanish. The first was Mrs. Johnson, an elderly widow who lived alone on Oak Street. Her disappearance coincided with a particularly eerie night when the whistling seemed closer, almost echoing through the quiet streets. As fear spread, the town formed a neighborhood watch, but each night the whistling persisted, drawing someone new into its grasp. Tim, a skeptical journalist from the nearby city, arrived to investigate the disappearances. He set up recording equipment in Mrs. Johnson's empty house, hoping to capture evidence of the elusive whistler. One fateful night, as Tim reviewed his recordings, he heard a chilling whistle pierce through the static. He followed the sound to the town square, where shadows danced in the moonlight. Suddenly, a figure emerged, a man in a tattered coat, his eyes vacant yet fixed on Tim. Without warning, the man vanished into thin air, leaving Tim trembling with fear. Desperate for answers, Tim delved deeper into Willowbrook's history and uncovered an old legend about a disgraced musician who was banished from the town centuries ago. Legend had it that his spirit wandered the streets at night, seeking solace through his haunting melodies. Determined to break the curse, Tim set out to find the musician's lost violin, the key to appeasing the restless soul. The Mirror in the Attic. Nathan and Emily had just purchased their dream home, a historic Victorian nestled at the edge of a quaint village. As they explored every nook and cranny during renovations, they stumbled upon a hidden attic, accessed through a trapdoor, concealed beneath layers of dust and debris. Inside, amidst forgotten relics and old furniture draped in white sheets, stood a grand, ornate mirror. Its frame was intricately carved with motifs of swirling vines and grotesque faces. But what drew their attention were the reflections within. The mirror seemed to capture the attic's dim light in an unsettling manner, casting shadows that danced unnaturally across its surface. Curiosity turned to fascination as Nathan and Emily noticed peculiarities in their reflections. Emily's image would occasionally show her wearing a dress she had never owned, while Nathan saw fleeting glimpses of a figure standing behind him, its features obscured in darkness. One night, unable to resist the mirror's allure, Nathan approached it cautiously, his breath misting the glass. As he stared into its depths, the figure behind him seemed to lean forward as if trying to breach the barrier between worlds. Cold fingers brushed his shoulder, sending a chill down his spine. Alarmed, Nathan stumbled backward, breaking the mirror's spell. He and Emily began researching the history of the house, unearthing tales of a previous owner who dabbled in occult practices. Rumor had it that he used the mirror to communicate with spirits, unwittingly trapping them within its reflective surface. Determined to rid themselves of the mirror's malevolent presence, Nathan and Emily consulted a medium recommended by a local historian. Together, they performed a ritual to sever the mirror's connection to the spirit world, chanting ancient incantations as candles flickered in the attic's drafty air. As they concluded the ritual, a piercing scream echoed through the attic, followed by an eerie silence. The mirror's surface cracked like spider webs, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted, leaving Nathan and Emily breathless but victorious. They sealed the attic once more, leaving the mirror to gather dust and memories of a time when boundaries between the living and the dead blurred in the flickering candlelight. The Forgotten Room. Amelia and Michael had always dreamed of restoring an old mansion to its former glory. When they stumbled upon Greenwood Manor, a sprawling estate hidden deep within the woods, they knew they had found their project. The mansion's grandeur had faded over the years, but its potential shone through the layers of neglect and decay. During their initial walkthrough, the realtor mentioned a peculiar detail. The blueprints indicated a room that didn't exist in reality. Intrigued, Amelia and Michael set out to uncover the truth behind this mystery. As renovations progressed, workers uncovered a hidden door concealed behind a tapestry in the west wing. Beyond lay a forgotten room, its walls adorned with faded wallpaper and furniture draped in dusty sheets. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and secrets long kept. Amelia pored over old documents and newspaper clippings, piecing together the room's history. It belonged to Charlotte Greenwood, the mansion's original owner, who vanished without a trace one stormy night over a century ago. Rumors swirled of foul play and a family curse that doomed the Greenwoods to eternal unrest. Strange occurrences soon plagued Amelia and Michael. Whispers echoed through the halls at night, and shadows danced along the walls, seemingly beckoning them toward the forgotten room. One evening, Amelia ventured inside alone, drawn by an inexplicable force. As she explored, a cold breeze swept through the room, chilling her to the bone. Flickering candlelight illuminated a diary left open on a dusty desk, its pages filled with Charlotte's frantic scribblings. She spoke of a malevolent presence that lurked within the mansion's walls, feeding on the family's darkest secrets. Determined to uncover the truth, Amelia and Michael consulted a paranormal investigator, Dr. Thomas, who specialized in historical hauntings. Together, they conducted seances and EVP sessions, capturing voices pleading for release and echoes of Charlotte's anguished cries. In a final attempt to appease the restless spirit, Amelia and Michael performed a ritual to lay Charlotte's soul to rest. As they lit candles and recited ancient incantations, the mansion trembled, as if shedding its haunted past. A sense of peace settled over Greenwood Manor, and Charlotte's presence faded into the ether. The forgotten room remained a testament to the mansion's turbulent history, a place where past and present intertwined in whispers and shadows that lingered in the corners of their memories. The Lake's Secret. Deep in the heart of Whispering Pines National Park lay Lake Serenity, a tranquil expanse of water surrounded by dense forest. Its beauty drew visitors seeking solitude and serenity, but locals whispered of a dark secret that lurked beneath its shimmering surface. One summer, a group of friends, Anna, Mark, Emily, and Ben, decided to camp by Lake Serenity, unaware of the ominous tales that haunted its shores. As they pitched their tents beneath towering pines, the air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness, and whispers seemed to echo through the rustling leaves. On the first night, as they gathered around a crackling fire, Anna noticed ripples breaking the lake's calm surface. A faint voice carried on the breeze, calling her name with haunting familiarity. Startled, she dismissed it as her imagination, but unease settled in her bones. As days passed, the group explored the surrounding forest, drawn deeper into its embrace by an unseen force. Emily stumbled upon an old journal wedged between moss-covered rocks, its pages filled with warnings of a vengeful spirit that dwelled beneath the lake's depths, a spirit that demanded sacrifice to appease its hunger. Nightfall brought restless dreams and whispers that trailed through their subconscious. Mark swore he saw figures moving among the trees, their eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. Anna woke in a cold sweat, convinced she heard splashing from the lake, as if someone or something struggled beneath its surface. On the third night, a dense fog rolled in, shrouding the campsite in an eerie silence. Emily's laughter turned hollow as she recounted tales of missing hikers who ventured too close to the lake's edge, their bodies never found. Ben grew paranoid, barricading their tents with fallen branches as if warding off an unseen threat. As tensions reached a breaking point, Anna stumbled upon an ancient stone altar hidden deep within the forest, a crude monument to the lake's dark secret. Carved into its weathered surface were symbols of sacrifice and supplication, invoking powers beyond mortal comprehension. Driven by desperation, Anna and her friends confronted the lake's restless spirit, offering prayers and pleas for forgiveness. The air grew thick with anticipation as shadows danced along the water's edge, whispering promises of eternal peace and silent acceptance. With dawn's first light, the fog lifted, revealing Lake Serenity's tranquil surface once more. Anna and her friends packed their belongings, carrying with them the weight of secrets buried beneath whispering pines, a reminder of the lake's ancient pact with darkness that awaited its next unwitting victim.